G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Daily reminder to embrace your individuality. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user PsychologicalMind407, titled, Am I the asshole for returning a birthday gift I got for my boyfriend after he insulted me about my colourful past? This happened last night, but my phone is still blowing up. I, female 26, dipped into my savings and got Mike, my boyfriend, 27, a PS5 for his birthday yesterday. He knew he was getting a PS5 because he told me that the PS5 is the only thing that he wants. We've been together for 4 years, so the cost didn't matter. That is, until I found out what he thinks about me. For some background, when I was 18, I was involved with Jake, a guy who I met online. We ended things after 3 months, and I moved on shortly after with Adam, a guy from work. I found out a couple of months later that Jake and Adam were actually really close friends, but I didn't know Jake long enough to meet his friend group, so I had no idea. After finding out, I took some time off dating, and 2 years later, I met my current boyfriend, Mike. I was upfront and honest with Mike about my past, and the fact that I was unintentionally involved with friends. He said he understood, and that my past didn't bother him. Last night at his party, I showed up with a PS5 and him and his friends were screaming with joy. His best female friend, Jessica, laughed and said, "Ha ha, I wish I was a thought so I could afford a PS5 too." I looked at her with an "excuse me" look on my face, and she just said, "Never mind," and walked away. I confronted my boyfriend about it, and he said, I quote, "She's just messing with you. You can't take a joke?" So I pushed further as to why this girl is even calling me names to begin with, and he said, "Well, everyone knows you were a thought before you met me." I asked him to explain how I was a thought before him, and he said, messing with best friends. He then pat me on the shoulder and said that it's okay because I'm not who I was back then, and if he could get over my colourful past and thought mentalities to give me a chance, then I could get over Jessica's comment and give her another chance too. I didn't say anything. I just got up, took the PS5 from the gift table, and left. He was pissed. He literally called me like 20 times, but I didn't care. I was so hurt that I took the bow off and took it straight back to the store that I got it from, and they happily refunded it. I thought that was done, but Mike and all of his friends, including Jessica, are berating me for being petty, and they're all saying that I brought this on myself by making poor choices. I responded to Mike and I told him that he deserves better than me, so find someone who wasn't a thought and get the PS5 from them because I returned it. He started screaming how I'm the biggest asshole for returning it and how I should be happy that he ignored my colourful past. I think maybe taking it back went too far. Am I the asshole? No? Oh my god, what is this guy's problem and all the friends' problems? They're just propagating this. No one deserves to be willingly disrespected and supported in their disrespect by an entire congregation of assholes. That's how I view this situation. They're all congregating together to attack you. You don't deserve that, and they are all soulless people who deserve hell. Send them to asshole hell, put them in the asshole basket, and ship them off. There is nothing that you've done in this instance that tells me that you're an asshole OP, so I'm giving you the judgment of not the asshole. In the comments, Sweet Potato Famished says, "I'm so confused, but maybe that's because I'm an old lady who got married around the time that you were in kindergarten. A, if anyone was wrong in the Jake and Adam incident, then it was Adam. You might have dated friends, but he dated his best friend's ex. That's on them to figure out, and Adam's mistake only. 2, where I come from, dating 3 dudes in 7 years does not a colourful past make. Did hoe get a new definition since the early noughties? Not the asshole. And I hope you do something special for yourself with a little bit of that money that you got back from returning that gift that you got your ex-boyfriend." Pangolin Tart says, "This 1,000 times over. Colourful past? He doesn't even know what that term means. Not the asshole." Absolutely. And the fact that he and Jessica have this running joke that OP used to be a thought says so much about the two of them. She probably gave him that thought mentalities phrase that he was so quick to use. They clearly have discussed it, probably for as long as they've been together. The audacity of Jessica to say that to her face also speaks so much about his friendship with her. Whether he's actually cheating with Jessica is a moot point, he may as well be. Not the asshole. give him the keys to the curb. Also, dollars to dildos, he's cheating with Jessica. Or she's a jealous female friend who wishes she was with him. But it seems like they're close enough that they name-call his girlfriend behind her back, so you're probably right. If they haven't, Jessica wants to at the very least. Not the asshole. Nothing about your past is even colorful. Oh my god, you dated 2 guys that happen to be friends. Good heavens, where are my pearls? I must clutch them. Sounds like Jessica is either sleeping with this fool or wants to be. She can have him. Use the money to get yourself something nice. Yup, jealous pick-me for sure. Who even says something like that to a friend's partner? Leave this guy. This is a precursor to much bigger issues. He thinks he is doing you a favor, will constantly hold that over your head and make you feel less than. I think I'm using pick-me appropriately here. It's a new term to me, but I like it. OP, not the asshole. And now, onto the update. Firstly, thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it, and I'm trying my best to respond to each of you. Turns out, you guys were right, but we'll get into that. Firstly, I unblocked Mike this morning and called him to talk. After a few hours of arguing, I finally got the truth out of him. He said that after I told him about my past, he was fine with it because it happened before him. Then he got curious about who Jake and Adam were. So he went digging on my Facebook friends list and didn't find Jake, but he found Adam. He then condemned me for having an ex on my social media page. I said I don't speak to the majority of people on my Facebook, but I wouldn't delete them, I just won't engage. He said that in his eyes, that was a red flag, so he went digging, and he found what he was looking for. He saw that Adam was well known and well liked by a lot of women because of all the women liking and commenting on his posts, and by the cars and trips that he posted prior. He knew that Adam had to be well off. He also admitted to knowing some of the women who were in Adam's comments. He then tried digging into Adam's friend list, but it was hidden, so he asked Jessica to stalk his likes, comments, and posts for a Jake. Sure enough, they found Jake. Saw that Jake drove an expensive car, and came to the conclusion that I only date men with money. Note, Mike doesn't have money, so his entire analysis was dumb. Anyway, I asked him why he didn't just come to me, and he confessed that for a while, he thought I was interested in Jake and Adam for money because that's what women do. He then said that him and Jessica brought the situation up to his guy friends, and they all agreed that this is how the situation went. I was dating Jake, he introduced me to Adam, I found out Adam had more money than Jake, I left Jake to sleep with Adam, and then started dating him. I questioned why I would leave Adam if I was with him for money, and he said that he thought that was a lie, and Adam had to be the one to leave me. Ouch. He then said that he contemplated breaking up with me over this for months, but as he got to know me, he slowly realized that I'm not that kind of person. I told him that he's basically full of shit for dirtying my name with his friends. I then asked him why he didn't clear up my name. He said whenever he brought me up, they all dismissed me as a gold digger, thought, a woman who slept with men for money, and here's the kicker, probably still have some of that money saved. They came to the conclusion that I must be with Mike for some ulterior motive, but he was too embarrassed to defend me. He also said that he was embarrassed every time I mentioned a male friend or tagged any guy on social media because they all teased him afterwards. I remember him asking me not to like any other man's photos on social media and to not tag any guys, but I just thought it's because it made him uncomfortable, not because his friends were silently stalking me. After hearing all of this, I decided to end things with Mike. I told him that he's not a nice person and I can't trust him anymore, especially because he knew I was saving for months to afford the PS5, and he allowed his friends to think that I got my money from elsewhere. After ending it, I said, "Oh, by the way, have you ever slept with Jessica?" He said no, but after she found Jake, she suggested they hook up if he ever needs to get back at me in the future. I asked what she meant by getting back at me, and he said that she was certain I would cheat on him with a wealthier man if I found one. He then said that he gave me the truth after all these years, so I should forgive him and give him another chance, but I didn't. I just thanked him for the good times, the memories, and for dirtying my name, then I hung up and blocked him again. Now I think I'll take another long break from the dating world. Thanks again, everyone. In the comments, I love that the OP took the PS5 and walked off in silence. I like to think that she did so with a stone-cold, emotionless face too. Jessica is a piece of crap, but she did OP a favor. Imagine buying someone a gift like that when they're trashing you on the regular behind your back. Good for OP for taking it back and not taking any shit. She spent a lot of time planning and saving money to get him this gift. I think OP is a badass, walking out with a gift and directly returning it, and then she didn't fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy, which most people would after 4 years together. She saw him for what he is and ended the relationship like a boss. Would that all people in bad relationships were capable of seeing someone for who they are and understand more time won't make it better. It's just delaying the inevitable. I don't mean to sound condescending, but I am so proud of OP. I hope she finds a man worthy of her someday. Some people just can't help but torpedo a good thing. It's actually very easy not to let your friend talk shit about your partner. Never had an issue with it. Yes, I did in fact let my friends make fun of you behind your back for years. But now I'm telling you, so can I have the video game console back? This is just the most uncolourful past I've ever heard of. My god, there is zero here that's even remotely colourful. Jesus, pray for the rest of us. Yeah, maybe it's coming from a small town, but I took it as read that anyone I dated would have dated people I knew. Like no shit they would have. Everyone within 5 or 6 years of each other's ages knows everyone there. If we marked partners as off-limits because they were our exes, we'd have 10 to 15 years of fun, then no one would date anyone ever. We'd all end up in mutual check. My reaction to my partner telling me this story would probably be, hahaha, oops. And honestly, good riddance to bad trash. OP, you deserve so much better, and you are worth so much more, and I hope that you get everything good come your way after this. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think of this one down in the comments. Please let me know. Our next post is by user Throwaway Mean Boss, titled, "A guy that I met at a work event out of town won't stop bothering me." Hello, I created a throwaway account so that I can share it anonymously. Around 10 months ago, I, 25 female, went on my first work-related trip to a different city. There I met Jerry, 43 male. I know there is a huge age gap, but I know myself. I'm generally into older guys. I met him at the hotel lobby that I was staying in. He asked me out on a coffee, and I said yes. He was really charismatic. I was blushing the entire time. We spent a good weekend together, no sex by the way. We did kiss multiple times. He gave me his number, and he didn't want to add me on social media because he said he doesn't use it. He did give me an Instagram ID to contact. This really made me a bit suspicious. I had this gut feeling that something about him was not right, so I decided to search and do some background work. I tried to search for him on Facebook and other social media, but I hit a wall. I remember that he gave me a business card. It was a card from his company. I also asked for a friend's help to find something on him. I don't know, I was just adamant on finding some dirt on him. Eventually we did find some interesting facts. That jerk is married with 2 kids. I saw his kids. One is about 16 to 17, another one is around 10 to 11. I wanted to throw up. I know my own sister tried to kill herself because her boyfriend cheated on her. I know the pain even if it is second-handed. I cut off all contact with him. I blocked his number. A few weeks after I totally ghosted him, I saw him at the parking lot of my office. He knew where I worked. Again, my fault, because I told him where I worked. He asked me why I didn't return his calls, and I blocked him on everything. I screamed at him and called him a liar. I told him I knew he was married, I knew he had kids. In fact, his oldest son is closer to my brother's age. This is really disgusting. He broke down crying and begged me not to leave him. He kept ranting about how unhappy he is in his marriage. He just wanted someone to love him, and when he saw me, he fell in love with me, and he wants to be with me. I told him this is not possible. He is married, and I cannot do this to another woman. Even if I don't know her, I have decency not to ruin someone's marriage and forever be known as a homewrecker. He kept begging. I had to threaten him that I would shout so that people can throw him out. His calling and stalking did not stop. I asked a friend and co-worker of mine to escort me to my car because I was so afraid that Jerry would come towards me. He sent me message after message saying he was sorry, that he can be a better man if I am with him. I had to deactivate my social media for a while. For like 5 months, it was calm and quiet, I had no issue, and then again I get a message in my email from Jerry saying that he has divorced his wife for my sake, and since he is not with his wife now, he and I can be together. I was really creeped out by this. I told him over and over again I do not want him. His harassment didn't stop. He threatened to ruin my career. He blamed me for ruining his marriage because I made a move on him. It's not true. He was the one who approached me first. I was just a little friendly with him. If I knew he was married back then, I would never ever have reciprocated his flirting. I feel lost. I keep blaming myself that maybe all of this wouldn't happen if I had not been friendly with him. I also don't want him to ruin my career, but I am scared for my life. Edit, I think I should mention that I'm not from the USA. The police in my area are corrupt. Jerry is in a very high position in his company. He can easily ruin my career. I'm collecting evidence because of his harassment. I have nothing much to say besides Jesus Christ, this is a scary situation to be involved in. Much more so that it appears he has way more tools at his disposal to ruin your life than you would his. I don't know what to say other than I'm sorry this is happening to you, OP, and I hope that, these comments help you get through this. In the comments, Soy Herder says, are you in a position to hire a private investigator? If that's a thing where you are, of course. My reason for asking this is, a dude who's done this once has done it before. There is no way that he has nothing in his closet that he doesn't want coming out, and while you don't want to necessarily goad him into escalation, being alone to prove to a court, legal court or court of opinion, that this is a slimeball may help. As well, it may help to find out who he respects as an authority who might be able to make him back down. OP replies, I will look into that. I'm thinking about filing a restraining order against him. Divorce proceedings can't be that fast. It's not your fault. Is there a way that you can move away? OP replies, actually, I don't know if he is just divorced or just separated. He told me he left his wife for me as if it will impress me, and I thought about moving, but it's scary because right here I have my family and friends. If I move to a new place, he might come there as well, and I would have no support. I highly doubt his wife has any clue about you. They're probably still together, and he probably does this to other women too. Make sure you document and go to the police. Does your family know? Your friends? OP replies, my dad knows. He is helping me with this. He hasn't told anyone for my safety. Good. If he tries to ruin your job, you'll be able to provide documentation that might ruin his. Catherine of Arrogance says, he lied to his wife so he could have his cake and eat it too. Why would you think he's not lying to you about divorcing his wife? She deserves to know all the details, regardless. You wouldn't be ruining his marriage either, by the way. He is. And now, on to the update. My stalker's wife wants to contact me. Should I go? Hi. A couple of weeks ago, I posted here asking for help. A guy I met on a work trip lied about being single. He has a wife and kids too. He has been stalking me, and he told me that he left his family for me so I should be with him because he made a big sacrifice for me. I've decided to file a restraining order, but these things take time in my country. But I have my dad and uncle with me. They are helping me to find a new place and probably a new job. As soon as I can serve him with restraining orders, I can be relieved. But I am afraid if it will work or not because he seems mad. His messages have been reduced because I threatened to call his wife. But the problem is, yesterday, his wife emailed me and said that she wants to meet me. She said in details that she knows that her husband has some connection with me. I have never met this woman in my life. I don't know why she wants to meet me. I'm guessing she wants to talk, but then again, he told me he left his wife. Then how did his wife know my information or even my email? If I meet her, my stalker could know that I talked to his wife. I'm really scared about my life. What should I do? The part of me thinks that she might help me with my case. Has anyone ever been in my position? In the comments, I think this guy is pretending to be the wife. Block her. If you do go through with it, insist on meeting at a police station. That will reveal the lie if it's actually him, because he'll try to argue out of it. But I'd still recommend not going. Edit, down thread, someone suggested a Zoom call with a burner email, which is a much better idea. But I would still block and ignore this message. I would not meet in person without a lot of preventative work in advance. Your stalker can observe you arriving at the police station, your vehicle, your route after leaving. All of that can be tracked in person or with something like an AirTag. Seeing you in person can also be a trigger. Better reason for meeting at the police station, depending on your country, is that if it's him, you can file a complaint and report right then and there. You were trying to get a restraining order. Get a copy of the email and take it to the police as part of the evidence. Whatever you do, do not reply or engage. There's a high chance that it's him, and even if it's the wife, who cares? You have to protect yourself first. If you want to make contact with the wife, do it via lawyer. Never direct communication. Nope, do not meet her. It may be a trap, either her or your stalker using her with ill intent. Anything she needs to be said can be said via email, where you can block if needed and have evidence of what's said. Partners can be victims or they can be accomplices. Trust your instincts. They are screaming at you to stay away from this situation. I am really scared about my life. Your body already knows what your mind hasn't figured out yet. This is dangerous. Stay away. Stalkers thrive on contact, any kind of contact. He's trying to make contact with you. Part of you already knows this. Listen to that part. Do not have your family members meet her for you. They won't see her, but they will be followed back to you. And now, on to the final update. So, I took your advice and didn't go to see her. We had a couple of email exchanges instead. I told her clearly, under no circumstances, I want to meet someone who I cannot trust. Whatever she has to say, she can say it in my email. She understood. I thought she would be opposed to this idea. She told me that she has been having doubts about her husband for a long time, so she hired someone to keep an eye on him. There she found out he has been having an affair with multiple women. The first time he did this, she forgave him, but this time he is only stuck on me. She said that she found some pictures of me on his laptop. She shared a file which contained some pictures of me coming out of my office, me going to the gym, me going out to eat. I was shaking. I was in a very emotionally vulnerable state after seeing that I cannot be safe in my own life. I feel like I'm being watched even now as I'm typing this. Imagine being a prisoner in your own house. I ended up telling the wife to have a Zoom meet for 5 minutes. I used a disposable account, and just for extra safety, I had the Zoom call in a public space along with a friend. I don't trust anyone at this point. I gave her some conditions that I will not be showing my face. If she wants to show me her face, then that's fine. It is up to her. I saw her for the first time. She looked like the woman that I saw in Jerry's picture with his wife and kids. She was basically crying and telling me that she had made a huge mistake. She should have left that time, and now he is bringing shame to her as well. I didn't say much, just the story of how me and Jerry met. Also, Jerry lied. He did not leave his wife. He was not separated from her, but I'm sure he will be now. I feel so exposed. I can't believe this is happening to me. I always saw this happen in movies. I am moving in with my cousin because I do not feel safe anymore. I wish I never met him. I feel disgusted that I kissed him and I hugged him. I don't think any amount of showering is enough to wash away all of that. Also, I feel guilty that I broke a family too. Thanks for listening to my vent. I don't think I'll update anymore until I get the restraining order. In the comments, But I Digress says, I remember your original post. I'm glad you're taking steps to stay safe. OP replies, to be honest, I do not feel safe at all. This guy has been stalking me for God knows how long. I cannot even go to my office without any escorts. In a perfect world, I would have him locked up for life. Why isn't he locked up for life? Well, because it's not illegal to be a massive asshole, unfortunately. My mother-in-law has the same issue with her old insane lover. Dude's been sending her creepy messages, photos, etc. for over 10 years. She's been to the police a dozen times, basically whenever he does something even skeevier than usually. They are sympathetic, but they always give the same answer. He's not doing anything legally wrong. This is just horrifying. Poor OP. It is so unjust that she has to be the one to upend her life and live like a prisoner because of some unhinged man. I hope she gets her restraining order and that Jerry gets put away or sees something shiny before it escalates, because it will. OP essentially went out on 2 dates with the dude, kissed him, and never talked to him again, which was enough for him to begin a 10-month stalking campaign. This dude is dangerous. I hope OP finds a way to be free of this lunatic. His wife needs to run too. This infuriates me. Imagine how many crimes would never happen if the authorities took stalkers and harassers seriously. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.